All right, good evening and welcome to Sunday Evening Coffee. I am Brian, and sitting right beside of me is my beautiful wife, Crystal. Say hello, babe.
Hello.
I just had to open her water because she's a weakling. And sitting down at the other end of the table are Jason and Jennifer Zach. Say, what's up? What's up? And then we have Jason and Lynea Rogers here with us tonight.
Yay!
Say hi, guys.
Hello.
So we're excited to have you guys with us tonight. And Crystal's apparently excited about the cookies.
Yeah, got one.
She did. She slaved over those, cutting them off the roll.
Shoving those extra chocolate chunks in all.
But I will say, last week when nobody was here but us, she did make 30 of her good ones.
Wow.
And I maybe ate 6.
Wow.
There's one left in there in a container.
6.
In one day.
Oh,
Within,
no, warm in the kitchen.
Like in an hour, maybe.
Wow.
Tops. So anyway. I'm excited about our coffee tonight. We have in the French press, if you're watching, which is closest to me, we have Kenyan coffee because Crystal and Lynea were roommates on their missions trip in October of last year. And so we ground up some fresh Kenyan coffee in honor of that. And we have a couple people sipping on that. And then down in the pour over, shout out to Jeff Gregory. Whoop, whoop.
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Reaching 360. Be sure you guys always check him out. We love Jeff and Lisa and what they do and their mission, and we support that 100%. So, but he brought us back his last trip. You know, he travels all over the world and does special projects for unreached people groups. But anyway, he brought back some Cuban coffee that he actually got to watch them pick on the plantation and then roast and grind with a mortar and pestle right in their backyard or on the plantation there. So he also brought us back a handmade filter for the pour over. So that's what that is, and that's what
It's very manly coffee.
It
very
is.
manly.
I feel like you're really far away.
Okay.
Can y'all hear her? So anyway, yeah. So we have some cookies and some coffee, and anything exciting going on in the world right now? Donald Trump is still in the lead in the elections right now.
Is that exciting?
I mean, it
I
is
don't
what it
know.
is. Yeah.
He's not a
Ben
politician.
Carson dropped out and endorsed Trump.
Here's the thing, though.
It's weird.
I think people like that he's not a politician, and he says he's not scared to say what he thinks, regardless of if it's the right thing or not.
Politically.
He doesn't back
It's just so
off.
volatile, it bothers
Yeah.
me.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, the big red button, he'll be like, which means not all bad,
Yeah.
not all good.
The other day on they were, I guess it was during the debate, maybe I didn't watch it, but I saw the after. He said something, they asked him about Muslims, and they said, you said all Muslims are bad and we need to ban them. And he's like, okay, not all, many Muslims are bad and we need to ban them. and Marco Rubio was like, you can't say that. He's like, no, I can. I just said it. I can absolutely say it.
doesn't care.
He's like, they're cutting off people's heads all over the world. He's like, they're bad. And he's like, well, not all of them. And he's like, enough of them.
I'm pretty sure the Bible says some stuff about all that too.
Yeah,
But
right.
Whatever.
So, all right. Anyway, that's our current event talk for the day. So, yeah, Jason and Lynea, we've known you guys for, probably
Few years.
7-8 years.
Yeah.
And we're used to be in Sunday school class with them and care group and known them for a long time. So, and it's
We went on a very long and arduous hike.
we did.
Brutal.
Yes.
Brutal.
6-hour hike. Yeah.
It was a very long hike.
I thought I was in shape.
And it wasn't, I would probably do that hike again. I didn't know what to expect. It was our first time doing that. Was it Virgin Falls? Mm-hmm. Is that where that was?
And we passed the first little falls and we're like, oh, that's it. No, there's like 3 more miles.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you hike in and then back out. So it's not like you go a round trip.
like that
It's
very
back in and
much.
back out. So you're seeing the same scenery.
No, you hike in and climb out.
Yeah, well.
And here's the thing, and it's like climbing over trees, and it's not like an easy, no, it was
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah,
Legit.
Terry made us all look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
Jason was back there pushing me.
We can't, there's no other way out. We have to walk.
You can sit there and wait for the whole group to come back.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to let you guys jump in and kind of tell us your story, and start out telling us how you met, and then just kind of roll through what life's kind of dealt you and where you're at today.
Okay. Well, when we met, I had just moved down from New York, And so Alyssa was 2.
Yeah, a little younger.
2, a little younger, and I was still with her dad, and Jason was with somebody else still. So, but I was a receptionist, and he was in the parts department and so we worked together, and so that's how we met, and we just became friends. Just really confided in each other because we were both at the time going through stuff with our significant others. So.
Were either of you married or you were just dating?
Just
Dating.
I
and
was
you
engaged,
okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what happened then? So you obviously at some point got together.
Yes.
Well, they were bad. I mean, both were bad relationships, and we were friends throughout all that. And I guess a while after both of them ended, we started dating at that point.
He got me going to Cornerstone. So, yes.
Is that where, did you get saved at that point, or had you already had a relationship with Christ before that?
I had already I rededicated my life at Cornerstone. So I got baptized in California. And so, but yeah, I love the church.
Did you grow up in church?
No.
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 Jason, did you grow up in church?
Not really young, but throughout high school, a friend of mine got me going to a Baptist church. That's where I was saved. We did some mission work with Mission Fuge and Centrifuge and a couple stuff with their youth and stuff. And but as soon as out of high school, fell back away from it.
Yeah,
and it really didn't get back involved. I don't know. And I guess I've been at Cornerstone about 10 years. A friend of mine invited me, and I've kind of stuck. So
yeah.
That's good.
It's a sticky place.
Yeah. People do stay there.
And everybody, it's funny to hear over and over from people because a friend invited me or somebody invited me. It's like sometimes we're the connection point and you don't always realize it.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how long did you guys date before you actually got married?
how long?
Not
10,
long.
12 minutes?
Yeah.
It was what?
6 weeks. 6 months.
Not before we got married. It was 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
We were living in sin. So, and at that time I was going through a custody battle with Alyssa's dad. So, going to court and everything, we knew we wanted to get married, but going to court, it looked better us living together married, so we didn't have a big wedding. We went to the courts, so in Sumner County and did it.
After being thoroughly convicted by more.
Yes.
Hellfire and
Oh,
brimstone.
yeah. All we heard was you're living in sin.
You're going to hell.
Living in sin and you're going to hell. Oh yeah, and you're going to hell.
You're going where?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah. At that time, Vanessa was teaching the premarital class, and so that was awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So had you dated somebody with kids before?
Yes.
So that wasn't a brand new.
No, I grew up and worked at the YMCA in my hometown with kids and a lot of the camps and stuff. So I've always been around kids and loved kids. So it wasn't anything, different for me. So
That was natural you to slide into. And how was that? I mean, coming from a standpoint, because I get it, obviously. I married somebody with kids, but how, it's a very different world when you marry somebody with kids and the baggage that goes with that. How was that? How was that transition into moving into that fatherly role for Alyssa?
I grew up with probably 4 or 5 different step parents thrown around, never really involved in the family situation, left out on vacation, stuff like that. And so growing up, I said I would never be like those guys were in my life. I wanted to be a better father. So it was, for me to love her, I had to love Alyssa the same. So, or to love Alyssa, love her. It was hand in hand. So it was never any doubt. They grew on me.
Yeah.
It's the eyes.
That's
and the
pretty
smile. It's the truth, though.
And so was it hard for you, were you overly protective of Alyssa going into the relationship with Jason and letting him parent? How was that transition?
It was, in a sense, it was kind of weird because I knew I loved him before he knew he loved me. So I just knew he was the one, And so, but yeah, I protected Alyssa, for a while.
Yeah.
Until everything. But, he's an awesome, he's a better father than her father is, So, it wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
He just stepped in and helped me. And at that time, she was going through the terrible twos. So he got
The terrible twos while 3.
I know people say no. 3 is so much worse than 2 in my opinion.
Yes.
People say terrible 2s, and I'm like, oh, just wait. Wait till they're 3.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So he can help.
So, do you remember an exact point where you knew? Because I'm sure even when you got married, even though he was going to assume that fatherly figure, it's still hard to give control over and to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to submit and let you parent her. Was that a natural thing for you to give up that parenting right to him to say, hey, I'm going to let you parent her too and let you have a say in how she's parented?
A little bit, because her and I were together alone for so long.
Yeah.
And but I wanted his help.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it by myself. I didn't want to be the disciplinarian all the time, so I wanted her to realize, I'm married to Jason and he's going to be your stepfather, and, he's
Be the head of the
he's
home,
going to
truly.
help. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I went into it, I told her from the get-go that I'm your friend, yes, I'm married to your mom. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Your stepfather, father, friend, whatever. Like, I'm here for you no matter what. I said, you figure out, you figure it out. And she has.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, definitely she has.
And, especially with him moving away to New York and leaving her here, she deals with a lot of emotions with that. And I can relate to her, too, being, in a split home and
Sure.
tossed around. And then, I think that helps me, kind of help her through it. And, you
have her perspective on some level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I never knew my parents growing up.
Yeah. And my parents are still together. So, I don't know how to help her as he can.
Right.
So he does.
So you two complement each other.
Does she still see her father?
Yes.
She goes up there, right, for some of the summer?
Mm-hmm. The whole month of June every year. So, and then in between, if he wants to come down, he lets us know.
It's still very hard on her because she still questions why he left, and she almost blames herself, which a lot of kids do. I blame myself for why my parents weren't as a kid, but we just reassure it's not her fault.
Right.
It's never, and we've even had some counseling with them and stuff, and they said she's not really yet at the age to fully understand it. So we just keep reassuring her that until she grasp it, because she questions him a lot and then puts him on the hot seat a lot. And I hate to say that, but I love seeing it because I even as a stepdad, I could never leave her or move away from her, even if something was to happen with her and I would still want to be involved in her life and not move to Texas and, hey, I'll see you in June, that type of thing.
He's married now, and his new wife has a son. So it's hard when they talk on the phone with Alyssa, because it's never just her dad and her anymore,
The dynamic has changed.
Yeah, and on the phone, he always talks about what they're doing together up there.
Oh, that's hard.
Yes.
It's almost like he's just rubbing it in her face, not intentionally, but he doesn't know any better.
That's what it feels like to her.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
She takes it
Yes.
very, very personally.
Yeah.
And is he a believer too, or?
No. When he comes down and, I ask, can you say, have her back, before church on Saturday or Sunday morning? Be like, no, that's my time with her. That takes away from my time. So
it's a tough dynamic.
It is.
She's being pulled in two different directions, and you guys are trying to instill that godly household, but then she's getting pulled in different directions.
Yes.
So it's going to be harder as she gets older.
yeah.
Yeah. For her, for us, it's what's better for her, and for him, it's what's better for him.
Sure.
And that's the and she's understanding
realize that as
She
she
is.
gets
Yeah.
older.
Yeah, because he's the fun dad.
Oh, yeah.
I get whatever I want with him, and I don't know the word no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vacation.
It's hard.
Sort of
Yeah.
the vacation experience.
Yeah,
It is
so we have
hard.
to reprogram her.
It's
So
tough. We've been there a little bit here and there.
yeah, and she knows heaven and hell, so she prays for him.
Yeah.
Because she knows he doesn't go to church.
So cruising along, life's good. You're married. You're moving into that kind of parental role, establishing a relationship not only with Lynea but with Alyssa, and everything's going good. And you guys started trying to have kids, right, of your own.
Yes.
And kind of talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we tried.
They had a lot
years.
of fun.
Lots of fun.
You cannot say the word sex or anything like that.
Can you perfect it without actually having one?
Yes. Yes. We tried for many years trying to. And just, I would get discouraged every month, And my friend, I don't know if you guys know, Shannon Baker, had a hard time with getting pregnant with Jackson, So I confided in her a lot. She knew where I was coming from. We never went to a specialist to see, what was wrong. We
Tried
just
everything else, though.
Yeah, we tried everything else, pills, other stuff. And, just it didn't happen.
How many years did you try?
The whole time we've been married up until last year. And
we've been married 6 years, yeah.
I mean, I almost felt at times that it was like her main focus, and it was very difficult on her because at times I feel like she felt inadequate because she couldn't, even though I wasn't pressuring her. I told her it's God's time. When He's ready, we'll have another child.
It was like consuming. I was consumed by I wanted to have a child.
Right.
So, and seeing everybody around me, getting pregnant, it was hard. So, unbeknownst to us, I had cancer. And so, and they told me that I had it for several years.
And what did they say about pregnancy with it?
If I would have gotten pregnant, it would have been bad. You can only imagine, what could have happened to the baby, to me, to both, so.
So how old were you when the C word came up?
29.
29 years old, and
Perfect picture of health. Otherwise, totally picture of health.
Yeah.
the not the diagnosis that you want, and it's genetics, right? It ran in your family.
No.
It did not.
It didn't.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that it had. Okay.
No, I have 3 blood clots. I've had 3 blood clots in my left leg, and that's it didn't run in my family either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very random.
So 29.
I'm very
You've been
normal.
trying to have kids. You can't have kids. You find out you've got cancer, and kind of start that whole journey and that whole process of what does that look like? What does that mean? And what are the options? So kind of now walk us through that whole process.
It was really. I'll start with this. It was really hard for us because 6 months before that, I left a job I'd been doing for almost 13 years. Started our own business. And at that point we were, we had just signed a contract to build a house, and then a month later we get that, and they tell you it's going to be. We didn't have insurance at first, and they're like, that surgery from, start to finish is $250,000. And it was very difficult. It's like, okay, what do we do? Do we back out of the house and lose the money we put down? Do we build it and sell it? What do we do? And is the business going to succeed? And I guess then you lead in from there.
Well, I went, when I found the lump, I went to my OBGYN, and she had me go to, at first because of my age, they gave me an ultrasound. And they saw something on the ultrasound, didn't know what it was, so then I did a mammogram. And they saw it, but the doctor there couldn't really tell what it was. They knew it wasn't a cyst or anything like that. And so then they did a biopsy, and that was last February. It's been a year since I had that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then so they did that. They took samples, and then
How long did you have to wait to hear back from when they took the samples?
was it a couple weeks?
No, it was actually fairly quickly because you had it done 1 week. We went through the weekend, and you heard fairly quickly because we were thinking if we didn't hear anything it'd be good, but we heard back very quickly. And of course they gave you the diagnosis at that point, and it was stage 1.
That was stage 1, yeah.
But on the scale of 0 to 9 is how they judged cancer fast growing. It was a 9 as far as fast growing. It had basically, she had it for a while, but it had started growing at a rapid rate. And
all of a sudden it started growing at a rapid rate.
Yes, and it had doubled in size between the time they had diagnosed and they had surgery. It had moved back under her arm. It was a real shock to us. But then at that time, you kind of realize, okay, God heard us, but He wasn't going to answer that prayer because He knew what it would do. He did what was better for us through that.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And looking back now, I see.
Yeah. It's hard to see it though in the moment.
Yes,
though.
when you're so consumed by something, and then you steer. You try to go your own path, and it's not His way. So.
When something that's so hormone related, as far as the progression of it, and to know the consequences of what it could have been had He given you what you're asking for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's
that would have
February.
been food for the cancer.
Oh,
basically.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So February, you get the diagnosis.
April 3rd, I had my double mastectomy. I went ahead and did a double, followed by reconstruction. So, and then I started chemo June 16th, and then I finished September 1st. And when they went in and got the cancer, it did not spread to my lymph nodes. They got it. They went in, they got it out,
That's amazing.
And that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And you finished your chemo on September the
1st.
The 1st, and your doctor cleared you to go to Africa on when?
Before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went October the
19th.
19th. We left for Africa. So
2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Lene didn't have much hair at that point.
No
or eyelashes, or she was pretty sparse.
I lost all my eyelashes in Africa.
And it started growing in though.
Yes.
Because she started getting her hair back. I was like, your hair has grown so much.
Crystal would FaceTime. She's like, look at Lene's hair.
She's like a chia pet.
Yes. She had to rub her hands through it.
Your hairs need to be fixed.
So take a step back for a minute. So I want to talk just a minute about what it's like to be cruising along, and you guys were obviously very involved in church, and your faith was very grounded. But I want to talk about what it's like to think that you're one place. So you've just started a business because you've been so wildly successful, and with your parts. So you've started a business. You're building your dream house. And all these things are going right for you, and then you get that diagnosis. Kind of talk through the emotions of that, and kind of what that felt like, and kind of talk about that.
For me, none of it. To build the house, the business, none of it really mattered unless she was around. So it was it was scary to me. It hit me hard.
Yeah.
I stepped back from ministry for a few months just to kind of get myself together so I could be there for her. Every Sunday I was there. I found myself at the altar. I was broken.
Yeah.
And the business kept going well, and it was rough trying to manage that and keep it afloat when trying to be there for her too, and trying to balance that. And I wasn't there as much for her during the treatments and stuff as I wanted to be, because I was trying to keep the business afloat.
Sure.
The house got built. We didn't have to get rid of it. We were able to secure insurance through some friends at church during that time that covered the procedures. Obviously there was a lot before that hit, and we deal with it as it comes, because it still comes in now. And but it was definitely a low blow for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell him what Sean, was going to say to you, but he didn't.
Oh yeah, and I've been in a men's group at church for a while, and things have been going very well. The success was there, and I tried to stay humble throughout the whole time. And Sean had told me afterwards, he was like, I wanted to tell you, just prepare yourself, because when a lot of good things hit all at once, usually something bad follows. I don't want to speak negativity, but just keep your guard up and stay prepared. Keep prayed up and stay strong. And it was, I don't know, I guess if I wasn't in the place, it obviously got me closer to the Lord through the thing, because I mean, there's no way I could have done it by myself. I couldn't have been strong for her, seeing what I saw and seeing her broken like that. And it was not easy at all.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's one thing that men's group did is, I mean, I feel like it helped prepare me, to be there for her.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, and from a third party outsider, I can say, Crystal and I talked about many times. I'm sure that there were moments of uncertainty and being scared, but your faith was never really shaken. There was always, every time we would talk to you guys, you were very much like, you know what, God's got this. Whatever it is, God's got it, and that's always so important. You never really know who somebody is until they're squeezed and what comes out in those situations. And I think for you guys, God definitely came out, and it's not a matter of when the other shoe drops and something bad happens and how you're going to handle it. I mean, I think with you guys, you just said, okay, you know what, God, whatever this is, it's your will, and you'll get the glory out of it. And so even though those things are hard to watch, and it's hard to watch your friends go through things, it's awesome to watch how you react to it and how you respond to it. And I think God's definitely been faithful through it to you guys and brought you through that. And, you're back to a place now today where you're healthy and, you're onward and upward. And so that's exciting. And more than that, the desires of your heart for a long time have been to have a baby, right? And, through circumstances while you were sick, you ended up having to have a hysterectomy, right?
No. Don't say that word. Do not say that word. No.
You had to have something done.
No, well, tell them.
Yeah. No, not yet.
Don't say that word. She will strangle you.
Okay, so here's the great thing. So we're in Africa, and I'm much older than Lynea is. I'm 41, and she's the one in front of the air conditioner because she has been forced into menopause for her treatment.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do for very long.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So you can explain what that means.
Yes. Well, because, I still want to have children. During the treatments, they gave me, I'd take a shot once every 3 months, and it basically shuts down my ovaries, and it protected it from chemo because it's so hard on the body.
Oh, wow.
So yes, so I get that to protect my ovaries, and they say you have to wait 5 years. We have to wait 5 years to try to have another kid. So, there's obviously a chance my ovaries won't wake back up, but we're still...
So does that mean menopause the rest of your life?
Well,
or eventually
yes,
do you?
Yeah, so...
5 years.
That's super fun for you.
I get it twice. But because it's a hormone-based cancer, they're going to keep her in menopause through the first 5 years to suppress that hormone. Along with, she's got a couple more. She goes every 3 weeks to get Herceptin, which is a drug that blocks that. It helps block that hormone also. And then she's done, I guess, in June with that, which is not technically considered.
Yeah, it's not chemo.
Not chemo.
Yeah, it's just, another additive.
Precaution.
Yes, absolutely. So, so I'm in menopause now, and then if we do decide to have more kids, I'll have to go through it again naturally. So, there's pros and cons, because obviously if I get pregnant, there's that chance of cancer coming back because of hormones and stuff. So, we're still praying about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And that's all you can do. I mean, let it be what it is.
Yes.
In the interim, though, more exciting news.
Yes.
So kind of walk us through your big news that's going on right now with you guys.
When I first found out, I was very upset. I cried on Jason's shoulder. My sister is pregnant with her fourth child. They just started coming to church. They just got saved this morning, her and her boyfriend.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
And who else did?
My dad, yeah.
Jason's dad did.
Yep.
Yes.
10 years of praying for him.
It was a good day at church today.
Yes.
It's a great day.
Yes. Apparently when they found out, they were going to give it up for adoption. They knew financially they could not take care of another one, and just that. So we're adopting it in a nutshell, and it's a girl. Yes. They are. they are very happy for us. You know, they know what kind of environment the baby is going to be growing up in, you know, and so they're very happy for Jason and I. And we're very excited. So,
well, yeah, and I'm sure that they're even more excited now after, you know, getting saved today and experiencing that and seeing, you know, where you guys are at in church and what you're doing with your life. So that's super exciting.
Absolutely.
So it may not be the initial way that you'd planned to have another baby at the moment, but it's God's plan, and it's exactly what God had planned out for this season of your life.
Was going to come.
Yeah, and we had already talked about adoption anyway. Jason's like, let's wait till the first of the year, you know, and we'll go from there. And then
before we even contacted the adoption agencies and lawyers and stuff, we got that phone call about her sister, you know, and it was just like, wow, this is easy. It's not. Everybody says it's not this easy.
A lot of people have to wait, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking.
That's how Jeremiah 29:11 plays out for that baby's life already before it was even born.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is crazy to think about. I mean, when you can kind of get in the weeds with it sometimes, but I mean, if you really stop and think back before any of us were ever formed, God knew this time would come, you know, and He knew that baby would need a home, and prepared you guys for that. And you know, you've got definitely the love to give it and to bring it up the right way.
Yes.
So that's awesome and exciting.
thank you.
And Alyssa's excited about being a big sister.
She is. Yes.
Let me do it.
Yes.
Jason and I came over 2 weeks ago, and we have a big chalkboard over the coffee bar, and so they were doing their adoption announcements on it, and their stuff was on the board. We're adopting, July 2016, and Crystal's mom comes in before they got here, and she looked up and she went, "Oh God, what? Why?"
Why? She thought it was us.
So,
God, why?
although if we could have it as easy as, just having, it'd be such a God thing. But anyway, so no, that's exciting. So yeah,
I was going to say, I have a question that's probably far too personal, but I want to ask it anyway. So at 29, you found a lump. Was it an obvious thing? Like, was it a breast self-exam? Like, what would your advice be to people? Because that's so young, you would never think to... Like, how aware do you have to be to know that there's something wrong?
I think very aware, especially going through it now. I understand. I actually had an itch on my side one night, and I felt it. And then
so
I felt,
you were scratching,
yes, and then I felt the other side, and there was nothing there. So, yeah, and it was very, it was probably the size of a grape. I would say, very easily noticeable. Absolutely.
So do you think it was itching because it was growing so fast, or do you think it was just
I
the
think
Lord?
I think
tickled
it,
you.
yes.
Hey, you need to check this out. Right at this moment.
Yeah.
It was a God thing for sure.
It was, because I had it for years and I didn't know. I didn't have any symptoms. And
was it that big for years?
I don't know.
They don't know. They said at that point. At first, they said it was slow growing, and it was that size. Then when they went in to do the surgery, they said, no, this is a 9 on the scale. It's very fast growing. It's doubled since we did the exam.
So
And then it had moved.
Twice as
Yeah.
big.
So we don't know if all of a sudden something was feeding it or what. We don't. They don't know really. So
And it's amazing it didn't go anywhere else in your body. If it was that big.
it actually moved further under her arm away during the time, which probably helped in the surgery. So that with the lymph nodes and everything else.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. There's so... there's so much stuff in our food nowadays.
Oh my God! Yeah,
and so
Don't eat those cookies. Sugar.
yes, I love sugar. That is
sugar too.
my weakness. I would say just because they give you a number on when you need to get a mammogram, don't listen to that.
If you suspect
yes,
anything.
absolutely. Yeah, I would start in your 20s, just giving yourself exams. Absolutely. Because you never know. I mean, cancer doesn't discriminate.
no.
And
No, not at
I
all.
never thought in a million years that I would hear that word,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and nobody ever does until it
No,
happens.
yeah.
You know, you always think, oh.
Well, and again, so young. I think you're less. I think you pay less attention because you don't think it's anything that you have to worry about, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know?
Her doctor said she was the second youngest that he had, and he has, done a lot and worked a lot with it, and he sees a lot more of it now. And he, he even said stuff. It's probably the food that we eat and the stuff in the foods. And the other woman, I think, was 26 or 27, and she ended up having the same procedure done. And she had twins. I think is what he said.
Yeah.
I think
she's like in her 40s now.
Had twins. I think sooner than the 5 years. She got pregnant sooner.
Really?
Yeah, they recommend 5 years, but if we wanted to try in 2 or 3, it's just
When you're young enough, you have a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's a good part of it.
To me, the adoption takes pressure off her, and allows us to focus on Alyssa and the baby and not worry so much about being consumed by wanting another child. And whatever decision she makes with any of that, and
you always hear about people getting pregnant as soon as they adopt.
yeah.
Like the Chapmans.
Oh, this is a Martin infant and my 6-month pregnant belly.
best birth control ever. Menopause.
Still lots of practicing, right?
Menopause can make you grouchy too, though. I don't know.
Well, all your
Are you in
hormones are gone.
menopause?
Let's say it's hot in here.
Yeah, right.
That's what's wrong with you.
I know, that's what everybody says. I'm like, shut up.
So tell us one thing that you guys bicker over that's funny. Like that you shouldn't bicker over, like as being married, like something that you like clothes on the floor, or we always ask people what they bicker
or that
over.
one of you might think is funny and the other one doesn't think
Yeah.
it's funny at all. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
I would say for him, he leaves water bottles everywhere.
Spark bottles.
Just water, because I don't drink it all at once. But that's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
Just leave it. She keeps the house even throughout this. It's amazing.
I'm like OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll
Renee's
leave.
always kept a nice tight ship.
Yes.
It's like you leave that shirt on that side of the bed, I'm gonna burn it.
I remember when y'all were moving into the other house in Gallatin, like as we're moving stuff in, Renee's got like stuff organized as we're moving stuff into the house.
Yes.
That's funny.
It's sad.
So what about for you, Jason?
I want to hear this.
Lord.
Just one.
Just one.
It's the cone of safety. She can't get mad.
No.
That's the rule.
We only
The
have
cone
time
of
for
safety.
one.
I'd have to think about that.
Oh, good answer.
I have a whole list.
Honestly, I probably do too, but
You put him on the spot.
Yeah.
He's going, I'm not touching that.
I think we've worked out our biggest one. She used to get mad at me for gaming, but
Gambling.
gaming,
Oh,
not
video
gambling.
games.
What are you talking about? No.
I think I'd be mad at you.
Gaming.
Yes,
Gaming,
but
yes.
we don't have that issue anymore.
That's good. Did you give it up?
No.
No, Lord, no.
What?
What's the outcome?
So how'd you deal with it?
So what's the compromise?
We just, I don't keep her from doing things that she likes to do. That's one thing I like to do. So.
Self-interest.
Dear,
Decorate the house.
can I say? No, let's not talk about garage sale.
That's great.
You got a budget for that?
I'm not sure the person that
Do
created
they
that was
make
Christian.
envelopes for that?
Yeah, right.
Dave Ramsey.
Actually, when y'all, did Brian tell you where I was?
Yes,
Yeah.
getting shoes.
Shoes.
I was picking up his shoes.
Yeah.
It's your fault. So,
Great.
so what's next for you guys? I mean, what do you feel like God has in store for you as a family and as a couple? What do you feel like? I know you love missions and you love to do that.
Yes. It has been hard knowing that I can't go this year
Yeah.
to somewhere. So, but yeah, I want to do missions. That's, my calling. I absolutely love it. I know Pastor said, we have people who do international reach, and then you have people inner city, and I feel like mine's international.
Yeah.
I absolutely. It is something about it. It is.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Those kids.
I think she doesn't know it yet, but I really think that through the struggles and the way she's carried herself through the struggles, she really has a platform to speak to women that are going through the same thing.
Yeah,
and it's kind of out of her shell and out of her wheelhouse, but I've seen her even through the treatments, take phone calls, text, go to treatments with people, meet with other people that are going through the same thing or similar things, and be there for them even when she's still not 100% and still struggling. And I mean, she definitely, she's definitely amazing in that sense because she always puts other people above her and her needs. So she's definitely got a ministry there if she chooses to do it.
It's funny. We were actually just talking last night about, we everybody, especially the church, as a church body, we all want to do ministry, but we don't want to mess with the yuckiness of ministry, of the inconvenience of ministry. And so last night we were going to some people's houses to pray over a baby, and I told it was kind of a teaching moment for Sophie because it was pouring down rain, 6:00, and we were driving up a pretty good distance. And I said, ministry's not convenient. God's never said, "Hey, I want you to be comfortable when you're out ministering."
Right.
Whether it's going to Africa.
Be on my way home.
And that's the sad society that we live in. We want convenient ministry. Oh yeah, I'll do it as long as I don't have to give up anything. I don't want to go to Second Saturday. I got to get up at 8:00. I don't want to go serve the community. I don't want to get on a plane to go to Africa. I don't want to drive across town to pray.
Or go give cookies to a visitor in Nashville. Yeah.
And those things you never really. I've been praying so much lately for boldness and things, like to pray for people and different things that not that I need a lot of boldness. I'm a big mouth, but I mean, but
maybe awareness, discernment.
But awareness is maybe better. But I think God does call us to that. He calls us to be uncomfortable. He calls us to say, hey, what? I want you to go talk to that person. I don't know that person. I want to do it.
To do this? Is that what you're saying? Are you?
No, I'm just saying that's what ministry is. I think that ministry is. You know what? You in your nature, in your flesh. Your natural is not to want to go talk to people and to stand up in front of people, but I think God gives you the test that you've been through, so you have that testimony. It's obviously to share, so He can get glory out of it.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And it's the same thing with Crystal. She doesn't enjoy doing this. She doesn't enjoy teaching a class, but when she does it and she's walking in the Spirit, there's an anointing that flows from her.
Absolutely.
That's just it's phenomenal. It's awesome to watch.
The Spirit of what now? What are we talking about?
The Spirit of the Lord.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And it's that way with all of them. Jennifer and Jason, their story, what they've been through. And I mean, when you share that, it's amazing the impact that it has and the people that go, wow,
Yeah.
So, or that more importantly, who go, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can make it. God can help me through it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I definitely had my moments when I was scared and crying and break down, and it's okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
God says there's a time for joy and a time for tears.
There's nothing wrong with being mad at Him either. I mean, that's why there's emotion. I mean, but you've always worked your way through it. I would, during the whole process, we'd be laying in bed at night, and there's a lot of times I'd roll over and she'd be up reading her Bible. I mean, her focus throughout the whole thing was it was God, number one, but she was focused on, going on that trip. And it didn't matter. She told her doctor, my treatments are around my schedule.
Yeah.
It's not going to run my life.
Chemo's going to have to work around me.
Right. That's what
I don't have time for all this.
But her doctor was amazing in the same sense that she's a very godly woman. And even when we first got the initial diagnosis, she said, look, here are your options. She said, go home and pray about it. And she said, when the Holy Spirit tells you what to do, you let me know. You let me know.
That's rare too.
She said, "You let me know, and that's what we'll do." And she knew her plans too. She knew she wanted to have kids. She knew she wanted to do missions. She knew all of it, and she worked everything around that.
That's great.
God gives you the desires of your heart.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
My blood count, like my red and white blood cell counts, was never off. My levels were always up. And, I understand he had I don't want to say issues, but concerns about me going to Africa, you know.
Very much so.
Because even for a health, I mean,
Yes.
even if you haven't gone through that, there's a risk
Yes.
you're taking.
It's
and
a
going.
toll on the body
Yeah.
and just the travel.
I didn't want them to say, now you can go. I wanted them to wait a couple weeks before and then, okay, doctor, I know God's got this, but, I'm a numbers person too. I want to see
I'm going to need your signature as well.
No, I wasn't the one that required the signature. But, I wanted to see that she was healthy because you know what? She can tell me and she can act it and hide it if she really wanted to.
Yeah.
But I wanted the numbers to know that she was okay because, I didn't want to put her in a bad position.
Well, because she got
attacked.
shots too.
Right.
And yellow fever is a live virus. And
Yeah,
you have,
that's
yeah.
right.
I mean, it's
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, and I was
She didn't get
fine.
sick,
Yeah.
anything.
I got sick from the shot, and
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yeah.
So.
God's favorite.
I'm going to zap you. And I can say during the trip, and I was worried. I wasn't worried. I was anxious and very aware because I thought, okay, if she's overdoing it, I'm going to smack her down and be like, "You're drinking water and going back
You
to
and
the room.
Judy
You're
Baker."
done." You are done.
done.
So, but she did amazing. I mean, you would had it not been for the lack of hair on her head, you would have never in a million years had a clue that she had gone through anything. I mean,
Some of the people on the trip didn't even know.
No, I think that and the culture is so different than ours that I don't think anybody really realized or recognized again, other than people who knew or just the lack of hair and eyelashes and stuff.
And the kids loved it. They
Yeah,
were
they
like,
did. But and for anybody who doesn't really know Lynea, she comes off as kind of quiet and reserved until you're around her for that many days in a van, and she's wicked funny.
Did you just say wicked funny?
Wicked funny.
Are you from Boston? With my khakis. She's wicked funny.
Wicked funny. So funny. So yeah, it's good. It was a good time.
yes.
That's
it was
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. We love you. Awesome story. We're excited about where you've been and where you're going and what's coming up for you. So
Thank you. We are too.
Absolutely.
God is good.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, guys, check us out, sundayeveningcoffee.com.
And if you need any car parts,
Yes, that's right. Swag.
yes.
Give us a plug. Tell us your website. Give us all your data.
Our shop is Swag Performance and Off-Road. We're in Hendersonville. The phone number is 615-452-6003.
Nice. Got a website?
We've got a couple. Too long to tell. Just call us.
Old school, right there.
So just another plug. So I've used Jason for like all my parts for years because he would get me parts for all my vehicles when he was at the dealership. And now that he's got his own place, I called him 2 weeks ago and I was working on the truck and I said, "Hey, can you get me this?" He said, "Yeah, I'll have it here this afternoon." So I went and picked it up. Ended up being the wrong part, and he had me the next one in the next morning. Had it back the next morning. So
That's customer service.
service
That is.
right there.
Catalog error.
Yeah, it wasn't
not
Jason
store
there.
error,
Let me tell you, Jason's on it. So yeah, definitely check them out. They do great work there. So it's not just parts. You guys actually, you outfit vehicles and do. They're big Jeep fans.
They got all
Amazing
kinds of
Jeep
fancy
girls.
Yes. Jeep life.
Yeah, we specialize in OEM and aftermarket parts, mainly domestics, and do regular repair work, oil changes, up to all your performance stuff.
Yeah.
Lifts, wheels, tires.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is.
Blah, blah.
Speaking in tongues.
That's awesome.
You got a complicated order.
Security.
Yeah, so, all right. Oh, and email us, sundayeveningcoffee@gmail.com. So check Jason out and, be watching Lynea. Going on more trips, and when she does, support her on those trips.
That's all right.
We always fundraise for our trips.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
Amen.
All right. Again, thanks you guys for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time on Sunday Evening Coffee.
Bye.